Is Scrum Agile? This is a common question. Actually, let me take that back. Maybe it isn't really all that common of a question, but it's a very good question. And for such an important question, it should be asked much more than it often is. The reason that it isn't as common as it should be is that too many people just assume that Scrum is Agile because they don't see any difference between Scrum and Agile. I was on a call the other day and someone asked if teams were using Agile Roles. What does that even mean? If you look at the Agile principles, there are roles mentioned. We see a customer, business people, sponsors, users, developers, and motivated individuals. There isn't any real clear definition of who these people are. Is the customer a user? If not, are the business people the customers? Who are these sponsors, and are they a subset of the business people or the customers? Is a developer a motivated individual? But what if someone isn't feeling very motivated one day? Do we remove them from the motivated individual's role? If so, how do we know when they have proven they are once again motivated? Some great coding conquest? Demonstrations of devout dedication? Feats of strength, like maybe arm wrestling the CEO? My point is that Agile isn't trying to define roles here. Scrum, on the other hand, is very specific in calling out roles. That isn't bad. It lets Scrum address the problems that Scrum is trying to solve. But while Scrum and Agile work very well together, you can't assume that you're following the Agile principles just because you're following Scrum. It is important to recognize that you can follow Scrum and still violate many of the Agile principles. You can also do a horrible job of following Scrum while doing a great job of following Agile. I'm not trying to disparage Scrum or Agile here, but rather point out that while there is some overlap, Scrum and Agile are different things. They can be very powerful together, but to get that synergy, you have to recognize that doing one doesn't mean you can just assume you're doing the other. If you want to follow Scrum, you need to carefully read the guide that defines Scrum and do those things. If you want to follow Agile, you need to carefully read the values and principles and follow them. If you want to bake a cake, you need to read the recipe and do those things it tells you to do. If you want to steal gold dust from the giant furry ants of ancient India, then you need to follow Herodotus' guide for that activity. And just in case you were wondering, it involves hooking 3 camels together for the ride out, and then staying on the fastest one on the way back to try to outrun the outraged but apparently swift-footed monstrous ants. You should not assume that following the instructions for stealing gold from ants will help you bake a cake, or vice versa. And you also shouldn't assume that following Scrum will magically cause you to follow all the Agile principles. So is Scrum Agile? Not by itself. Scrum is Agile when it is being practiced by people who are also practicing the Agile principles and following the Agile values. Following the Agile values and principles is what makes you Agile. To the extent that Scrum helps you follow the Agile values and principles, then it helps you be Agile. But this requires some degree of being intentional about what you are doing, and the first part of being intentional is recognizing that you can't assume you are following Agile simply because you are using Scrum. If you want to continue to see videos on Agile, please tap the subscribe button. I have a cartoon called What is Agile that many have found useful. If you want to hear more about Scrum, you might want to watch the What is Scrum cartoon. And if you'd like a free copy of my book called Starting Agile, please check the description for a link.